Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news, and we have a lot to talk about today. Xbox has been dropping news continuously all month long, and once again, Microsoft dropped huge news for Xbox Game Pass today. There will be a big expansion coming to Xbox Game Pass very soon, which has a ton of potential, so we will talk about that, as well as some new details on that Xbox Series X event, which is only 1 week away now. First though, as usual, let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with one of the more overlooked games of recent years, River City Girls. River City Girls, in my opinion, is one of the best beat-em-up style games on the market. For me, it's probably between Streets of Rage 4, Castle Crashers, and River City Girls. I mean, it really is an excellent game, and it just has a beautiful art style, great mechanics, and a really wacky story. The thing is, River City Girls is actually a spin-off of the long-running franchise Kunio-kun. To me though, I do prefer River City Girls, and if you are like me, you may like this news because WayForward has confirmed that more River City Girls is on the way. They did say it's a ways off, but with the way they worded this tweet, it almost sounds like they're just doing DLC or something like that. Well, think again, because they said this is something separate. So we may actually get a sequel to River City Girls, or at least that is what I'm hoping they're alluding to here. They did originally announce this on Limited Run Games last week, and at the time I thought it may just be a limited run physical copy of River City Girls, but with them going out of their way to tweet about this a week later, gives me hope that we will indeed get a sequel. I will say this though, if you have not played the first game, definitely go do so because it is an insanely fun game. Moving on, can Valve count to 3? We have yet to see proof of this, or at least yet. But yeah, it's time to talk about that ever-elusive Half-Life 3 yet again. See, the thing is, fans have been wanting a Half-Life 3 for well over a decade, and until recently, Half-Life just seemed kind of dead. Like Valve just no longer cared about making games anymore at all, and maybe they've become stagnant and just want to live off of Steam alone. But then out of nowhere, they announced Half-Life Alyx, a big AAA virtual reality game. This was initially met with a very mixed response among the community, as virtual reality is still considered to be a niche product. But that's the thing. Half-Life Alyx turned out to be a great game, and from the sounds of it, it was very successful. I played Half-Life Alyx myself, and I can truly say it really is as good as people make it out to be. But even then, by making it a virtual reality game, Valve did wall off much of their community, and well, we still have yet to get a new traditional Half-Life game. Well, if the Half-Life Alyx development team has any say-so in the matter, that may change very soon. In a new Half-Life Alyx Final Hours documentary, the Half-Life Alyx team has expressed great interest in working on a traditional Half-Life game. Now, whether it's Half-Life 3 or something completely different is an entirely different story. Also, Valve does have to sign off on this project, so there is no confirmation that this will absolutely happen, but again, Half-Life Alyx was great. I think that they could possibly do this. They seem to understand the world very well, they're good with the gameplay, and they put an interesting story together in Alyx, so I say Valve should just go ahead and sign them up, let them work on a traditional Half-Life game. We can only hope, right? I will ask you though, would you like to see the Half-Life Alyx team work on a traditional Half-Life game? Let me know in the comments below. Also, we have another franchise that has a chance to return, Croc. Now, this is a game that I haven't heard about for years, and some of you all may not even know what this game is, but back in the 90s, there was several really big mascot platforming games. You had Super Mario 64, Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, and Crash Bandicoot, but there was plenty of others including Croc. The thing is, in the last couple years we have seen both Crash Bandicoot and Spyro get remakes which both have been extremely successful. In fact, the Crash Insane trilogy was so successful that it finally convinced Activision that hey, maybe it's a good idea to make a Crash 4 game that's, I don't know, similar to the first 3 games. So obviously these style of games can still see a lot of success in today's market, and other developers are going to take notice of this. Well, former Argonaut boss Jess San out of nowhere responded to a tweet that is nearly a year old to let everybody know that he himself would like to do a remake of Croc. So there is actually some hope that this indeed could happen. Now granted, I don't think Croc carries the same weight as games like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, so it would be a little bit harder to get a publisher to sign off on a project like this, but as long as he can get the rights to develop Croc, hey, maybe he could open up a Kickstarter or something like that. I mean, it is very possible. In other news, we got some unfortunate news for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition. Crystal Chronicles is a game that revolves around its multiplayer, but Square Enix is now saying that it will not have local multiplayer. This will be an online-only game, and that's just very unfortunate. The original game did have local multiplayer, so this did come as a surprise for many fans of the original game, but it seems like Square Enix is trying to make up for this by allowing crossplay. So yes, you will be able to play Crystal Chronicles across the PlayStation 4, the Switch, and mobile devices, but I'm not really sure that makes up for the no local co-op. I don't know about you, but I do like playing these type of games with my family, and I would prefer that over playing with strangers that I likely won't be able to talk to across devices. But there it is. I am curious as to your thoughts though. Does the lack of local co-op bother you or not? Let me know. Now let's move on to the big Xbox news because they announced a major Xbox Game Pass announcement today. And no, this is not new games or anything like that, but rather they have revealed that their game streaming service Project xCloud will be heading to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate this September at no extra cost. Yeah, that's right. If you have a subscription of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you will have access to xCloud to play Xbox Game Pass games on any supported device that you want. Now this is a huge deal and has a ton of potential for gaming. As an example, let's say Halo Infinite comes out, one of the biggest games of the entire year, and you don't own an Xbox. You don't own Xbox One, you don't have the Xbox Series X, and you don't even have a PC that is capable of running Halo Infinite. Well, instead of buying a new console or PC, instead you can go to your phone, buy Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month, and then you would immediately be able to play Halo Infinite right on your phone. That right there is the potential this has. This immediately gives anybody who has a PC or phone access to a very large library of games with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now, every single Xbox Game Studios games launches right into Xbox Game Pass. That means Halo Infinite, Hellblade 2, Psychonauts 2, Gears of War, Fable, and the list goes on and on, will all be available for you to play anywhere you want and how you want, all for the price of $15 a month. That is an incredible deal, and that's not even mentioning the hundreds of other games that you can access through Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now, I do want to emphasize the Ultimate part here because xCloud is not included in the standard version of Xbox Game Pass. That version is specifically geared towards console players who have no interest in online gaming or playing on other devices. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, though, has a few more things to offer. This includes Xbox Game Pass for PC, Xbox Live Gold, and in September, Project xCloud. So the two does offer different features, but for only $5 extra a month, this is an incredible deal. Also, this should be big for Xbox over in places like Japan. Microsoft has stated this year that they do plan on launching xCloud in places like Japan this year. And the thing about Japan is that they love handheld gaming. In fact, they play games on their phone a lot. On the other hand, it's no secret that Xbox has really struggled in Japan, and Xbox One is almost non-existent over there. With xCloud and Xbox Game Pass being paired off though, they have a better chance of success in Japan. That in return will be good for the rest of the world because if Xbox is successful in Japan, that means Xbox would more than likely get more Japanese games. This is something that Xbox fans have been wanting for a while, and Xbox Game Pass and xCloud may be the key. Actually, we are already seeing some Japanese developers embrace Xbox Game Pass. Sega, Square Enix, and Capcom have all released big titles onto the subscription service with games like Yakuza, Nier Automata, and Monster Hunter World. So yeah, this really is big news and for multiple reasons, and it will be very interesting to see how the service grows once this releases. This yet again shows you the strategy for Xbox though, as we head into the next generation for Xbox Series X. They are all about choice and making it easy for everybody to play their games. In fact, Phil Spencer today did reiterate that they will be supporting both the Xbox Series X and Xbox One for the next couple years. That means games like Halo Infinite will be available to play on both generations of consoles, and obviously, not everybody loves this plan. Some people think this will hold the Xbox Series X back by supporting the Xbox One, and I've talked about this in the past. Games scale up and down very well. This is nothing new, and it's been done in PC gaming for years, and you can toggle ray tracing on and off, increase frame rate, textures, load times, lighting, shadows, and the list goes on and on. So the Xbox Series X version will look much better than the Xbox One version, but we are seeing Microsoft's plans at work here. They're giving fans options. They don't care what device you play their games on, they just want you in their ecosystem. They want you to invest in things like Xbox Game Pass and xCloud. If you want the best visuals, the most powerful console, then the Xbox Series X would be that choice. If you don't want to invest in a new console right now though, then you can stick with the Xbox One until you are ready. If you don't want an Xbox console at all, you can play on PC or stream to your phone, tablet, or even PC. The choice is completely up to you, but the future of Xbox revolves around choice and Xbox Game Pass. That is their moneymaker, and this is why they're investing heavily into new studios. With that said, Xbox did announce one last thing today, and that is about the Xbox Series X event next week on July 23rd. Obviously, the hype really has been crazy over this event, and Aaron Greenberg posted a quick tweet today to let you know what to expect, and that is just games. It will be about 1 hour long with nothing more than games, so don't expect any console announcement or even price. That shouldn't come as some big surprise as Xbox and PlayStation continues their game of chicken to see who will announce the price first, so we likely will hear about that next month alongside the Xbox Lockhart. 1 hour filled with games though sounds pretty good to me, so hopefully there is a lot of interesting games there. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.